What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Passive Tree Podcast, a podcast dedicated to talking about life, Path of Exile 2, and everything in between. I'm your host, Blaze, and tonight on episode 21, we have a fellow PoE2 streamer, content creator. It's none other than VV Villain. Welcome on, and how are you
Hello.
doing?
Hello. Thanks for having me on. I am doing great. So excited to be here. Big fan of the podcast. I see you have a very star alumni of these episodes. So super honored to be on one of them and be here with you guys hanging out talking about PoE.
Me too. Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, I became aware of your content, your stream. Love the stream, by the way. You got a super chill vibe going on in there, and a great community as well. Through a homie, Young Doc. So big shout out to the homie Young Doc for making this happen, for connecting us. Just another example of how this community is kind of looking out for each other, putting people together. It's an awesome place.
Yeah, I agree. Shout out YDoc. I think YDoc's video that he released recently on what your ARPG says about you is how I discovered him. And I was like, wait, that guy's been in my chat before. And then it just, one of the best things about this game is the community and how cool everybody is. So really, really excited to connect with more of you guys.
Yeah, it's been a beautiful part about the podcast. I started this podcast just to talk about PoE2 with new friends and make new friends because I have a bunch of gamer homies and they all don't play ARPGs, they all don't play PoE2, and I'm like, I need somebody to talk about how good this game is. And now it's become I have lots of people to talk about with Twitch chat and podcast guests. So yeah, it's becoming pretty awesome for sure.
Yeah. Do you find when you go out in real life now and you're around people that are not gamers, you're kind of like, I don't know what to talk about. I really just want to talk about PoE2 right now, but you can't. So it's been really great to connect with so many people in this corner of the internet.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would require having to go outside, which prevents
Oh
me from
yeah.
playing PoE2. So I don't really do that often. But when I do, yeah, I try not to tell them that I'm playing like an invoker and I'm level 97 in hardcore. So it usually doesn't go over
I
too well.
Look, as long as it's not a dead eye, you're good. You're good.
Oh, don't tell her about my dead eye, guys. Don't tell her.
Is that what you wiped on recently?
That was my league start, actually. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
ooh,
yeah.
ooh. All
Have you?
right, all right. It's a sensitive topic.
It is. It is. I did Deadeye, guys. Don't judge me, okay? This is a judge-free zone. All right. Anyway. All right. Yeah. So I wanted to start off with a bit of a little bit of VV lore, something I like to do on the podcast. So let's jump right into the first question. So when did you start gaming, and what were you playing on when you started?
Yeah. So growing up, my older cousins always played Game Boy, Sega, stuff like that, but I was a little bit too young. And then in fourth grade, I got my very first console ever. It was the original PlayStation, PS1. I had Crash Bandicoot.
Nice.
It's cool borders. And my mom would play these video games with me. So yeah, started on the console. And then in fifth grade, I discovered Neopets, and
Okay.
it was kind of that was the combo of gaming and just becoming a little tycoon and learning how to program HTML for my little Neopet shop. It sort of just it fully had my hooks in me by then. So
I love it. Yeah, I played Neopets so much. I could never figure out actually how to do well in Neopets because I was so young when
yeah.
I started playing it. But did you ever play Habbo Hotel or any of those types of games too when you were a kid?
No, I
Okay.
never got into Habbo Hotel or
Hmm.
what was the other one that was similar, like Club Penguin or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
But I was a little paintbrush tycoon on Neopets. I was just flipping paintbrushes left and right, those pet brushes.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, running a little economy out of my parents' computer room.
I love it. I wonder if that game is still even up and running. Are kids today
It
playing
is.
it?
I just made a new Neopets account 5 days ago because we were talking about it on stream and we were like, oh, I wonder if it exists. I just signed up. I haven't really had time to dive in and play yet, but I know that it exists. But not to what degree.
Fair enough. Well, guys, if you want to go check it out 25 years later,
Wait, hold
let's
on. We're gonna start a private league for Neopets, okay, guys? Sign up sheets will be in the link in this. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. This podcast is actually taking a new creative direction from PoE2 to Neopets,
Sponsored by
actually.
Neopets.
That's awesome. So you started off PlayStation 1, iconic games like Crash Bandicoot and all that kind of stuff. It's an incredible system. And then moved into PC gaming with browser-based games. I'm wondering what other games really stood out to you in terms of games that you still look back on and think, damn, that really impacted me as a gamer now.
Yeah, I think Spyro is a really big one for me. There was this weird so when I got my first PlayStation and my older cousin lived with us and he sort of picked out the games and it was more like I said, sports, sort of Crash Bandicoot, Cool Borders, that sort of stuff. And then I remember going to Blockbuster with my dad when I was like young and I saw Spyro and I was like, "Ooh, what is this? Maybe this is a game." Not that there's, guy games, girl games, but it was just more girl coded and I'm really into fantasy and stuff like that. So getting Spyro being the first game that I ever picked out for myself fully locked me into that fantasy like genre. And then that's what piqued my interest in WoW while I was in high school. And then I started just, kind of from there staying in the fantasy esque genre. And I think that PoE2 has a lot of similarities to that as well. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, Spyro is incredible. I loved
Yeah.
Spyro. And yeah, you mentioned World of Warcraft, so you played like since high school, and that was one of the more impactful games. Did you ever play any other like MMOs after WoW, or was that like the one and done for you?
No, it was WoW for a bit and then life got in the way. I stopped gaming pretty much altogether from, college through my late 20s, except for Hearthstone. So being a WoW addict, you're on Blizzard's mailing list, and they were like, "Here, try out this new game." And I'm like, "All right, why not?" So I started playing Hearthstone on my phone for like years and years and years. And then in January 2020, I was like, "What would happen if I started streaming it?" So I did, and then I was locked into as tends to happen with streaming, you kind of get locked into one category. So believe it or not, I haven't really played that many games. It's mostly just been like Hearthstone, dabbled in WoW, played a lot of Diablo 4 while that was coming out, but nothing, no major. I'm like a blank slate, basically.
That's super cool. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
yeah, throughout like life, there's opportunity to play a lot, but I feel like when we were younger, there was like very specific games that we probably just played a lot more. There wasn't as much like variety in terms of games that we had when we were kids too, where it was like you had Spyro, that's all you really needed for like, hours and hours and hours. Whereas nowadays it's like it feels like every week there's a new game coming out that like is going viral on Twitch or something like that, and then that changes to something else.
Totally.
So yeah, I get that
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, there was another one that I remember being really into was DDR. My little
Yes.
sister and I had
Yes.
my sister who's actually in our chat right now, which and she and I had the like custom game pads for it, so
Nice.
we would rip DDR, like, all summer, growing up, so I guess, yeah, that's another one that had a big impact on me, but other than that, yeah, it's really cool to, like, feel this nostalgia for games, especially in today's landscape where there's just so much more variety, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I also think that you don't develop those long-formed attachments with games as much anymore.
Definitely. Yeah, I love the callback to DDR. Oh my god, I played that a lot too back in elementary school. We had like I don't know if there was the custom made ones, just like the mats, and they would like slide all over the place while you were playing. And
Yeah.
I never got good at it, but damn, it was fun and honestly a pretty good workout too.
No, it was, yeah, and we would, like, go to the mall, and you'd have to put a quarter lined up on the, arcade machine to, like, mark your place with other people waiting in line to play. It was just this whole, like, arcade culture thing, and, yeah, forgot about DDR for a while too.
I might have to find an arcade nearby and try and run some DDR. That shit was so
Dude,
fun.
wait, this could be, like, a fitness class for, like, aging gamers, like, this is our way to get our cardio in or something.
Honestly, it could be good. It could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another question that I wanted to ask you is sort of now that you're older, you're not playing DDR, you're not playing Neopets as much as you did before. How do you find balance between life's responsibilities, content creation, and all of the things that you have to sort of balance in life?
Great question. Candidly, I don't. No, I'm kidding, but it is something you have to work at every day, so slight lore drop. I just resigned from 12 years in corporate tech to pursue gaming and streaming content creation full time as of July. So it's been really interesting having all this going from having no free time to having all of this free time that you get to structure on your own, and have to structure effectively and responsibly in order to stay alive, right? And so the balance piece is still being worked on, but what has helped me the most has been just structure and sticking to it, discipline, right? I know that, every Wednesday at noon I have a Pilates class. I know that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from like 12 to 5 or from 1 to 5 after Pilates, I'm editing videos or I'm, sending out auditions or doing whatever it is I need to do. And so sticking to that structure and having somewhat of a routine, somewhat of a balance has been really helpful. Although as soon as league started, balance kind of went out the window because we were rocking like 15-hour streams for the
Oh
past
yeah.
month. But yeah, starting to balance things out a little bit more now. So ask me again in about 6 months.
For sure. It kind of seems like you're taking sort of like that structure of like your work hours or your corporate, structure and trying to just implement that in your like everyday, life. And it is hard. Like I'm an
Yeah,
entrepreneur as well, and I've been doing it for a long time. So I've sort of adjusted my lifestyle to have structure when it needs to. But when you
yeah.
don't need to have structure, like no one's actually going to get pissed at you for not showing up at work. Like you have to hold, it's hard to hold yourself accountable sometimes. And it is something you got to, just exercise that muscle. And yeah, I feel that for sure.
Yeah, it's been really exciting and really scary and really fun and just all these different emotions. But I'm really glad to be here and super excited to be doing it.
That's amazing. Yeah, congratulations. Just as a follow-up question to that, so, you don't have to answer this if this is too personal, but, like, when you quit your job, was it because, you had just decided that you enjoyed, like, content creation and, like, streaming so much more, and you just couldn't stop thinking, like, "What if?" Or, like, walk us through, like, sort of that experience, how you did that.
Yeah. Yeah. Permission to be like Debbie Downer for 2 seconds, but I promise it's a positive outcome. There was a lot of crazy stuff that happened this January. LA caught on fire. I broke up with somebody I was with for 4 years. I found out my dad was really sick. There was a bunch of major life changes that happened, and it put me in a really, really dark pit of depression, exacerbated by the fact that my corporate life had become so overbearing, so draining. I was so burnt out. I was beyond the edge of burnout. And so when all this stuff went down, I sort of had a little bit of I don't want to say mental breakdown, but something in me just snapped. I was like, I cannot be living my life this way anymore. And I had always streamed, but I wasn't as serious. I would stream sporadically, maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, never a set schedule. And luckily, working in the tech space, we do have really good benefits. So I was able to get 4 months of medical leave to just kind of keep myself afloat. And in those 4 months, the first 2 weeks of it, rather, I didn't get out of bed at all. I was just so depressed. And then after that, I was like, what if I just flip on my stream? And then the next day, I was like, what if I just flip on my stream again? That wasn't so bad. And then I started doing it every day almost. And I just blew up. I mean, I look at like I'm a very big data oriented person. I was a data analyst in the tech space for 12 years. So looking at like growth charts and stuff like that, seeing my numbers skyrocket, I'm like, wow. So it almost like gave me an external source of motivation to get through my darkest days. And yeah, that's it. That it's really like I don't want to sound cliche or lame or no glaze, but like streaming in this community really did like save my life and pull me out of some dark spaces. So yeah, just really, like I said, really excited to be here and be doing this. And I had no idea that we would ever end up at a place where I could potentially pursue this full time. So yeah.
Damn, crazy. Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
it's uncanny because I was actually just talking about this particular like topic in chat with somebody, and he literally said like this game has also been like a saving grace for me, like having this community and this game to play and like being just involved with it. I don't know. There's some sort of
Yeah.
like as you put it, like secret sauce to it, some sort of like magic
Yeah.
to it. And yeah, I also like I feel so grateful to be part of that as well. And I share that sentiment with you for sure. We're in this together, 100%.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So talk to me a bit more about the transition from becoming a like just a a gamer to a content creator. Like, what was sort of like that transition like, and what were some like negatives and positives with the whole transition?
Yeah. It's really interesting. I think one of the biggest things that I deal with is my own sense of self worth and validation, right? Like going from being a career corporate person to making a career in gaming, you're like, okay, like let me not seem lazy or let me not work as hard as I possibly can. We said we're going to do it, we're going to do it. That being said, oh my god, I'm so grateful that I get to wake up every day and just literally play video games. So it's been really nice getting rid of that corporate stress and that corporate responsibility and then replacing those with new stress in terms of things that are due and things that are pressing and things that need to get done, but these are things I want to do and want to be doing. I don't look at, the pile of VODs that needs to be edited and think, "Oh god, I gotta do this." I think, "Oh, I get to do this. This is so exciting." So finding the joy in the work that you're doing has been such an amazing experience for me. Like, I actually enjoy my work now. And then there's been a lot of other things that have happened, hand in hand with stepping into streaming full time, freeing up myself from the corporate shackles. Has also led to opportunities with, I work with a couple brands in LA doing like modeling for them. I work for Universal Music Group, hosting a Twitch channel show for them. So we can talk about that a little bit later.
Definitely.
A lot of acting, modeling stuff, YouTube shows. So just this overall like flywheel of positivity has started going off in my life ever since stepping into content creating full time. So yeah.
That's incredible. That's amazing. Yeah, like for me, I'm such a new content creator. I just started in February, and so I've been like embarking on this journey. Um, and yeah, I can relate to this story quite a bit because I'm an artist, so I paint murals, and my mural season is usually like from about like May until like October, November. So I'm kind of nearing the end of it now, and then I don't usually work unless I get like a pretty nice interior job all winter. And last winter, so I live in Toronto, and it was so freaking
Brutal
cold.
cold,
It
right?
was
Yeah.
like, it was abnormally cold, so I just didn't wanna go
Oh man.
outside, and so
Yeah.
I had, like, super bad, like, seasonal depression where, like, I wasn't doing what I love, which is, like, art, like, I wasn't able to really create art because I do a lot of it outside,
Yeah.
and, like, PoE 2 came out in, like, December, and so I, like, just gravitated this game and,
It's like,
like
here you go.
yeah, I was like, "Okay, let me, distract myself from how bad I'm feeling right
Yeah.
now and just, like, go into this." And then
Yeah.
it kinda got me to a point where I was like, "I love this game so much, like, I might just, like, make a video on for YouTube about it." Like, I've never really had that, like, passion towards a game before. I was like, "Oh, I actually wanna just, like, talk about it on the
Yeah.
internet." And yeah, here we are,
Were you
like
involved in editing and stuff like that before? Had you done any video editing stuff, or are you sort of learning as you go here?
I have done video editing before. So I used to work for my dad, who lives in Singapore. I did like social media management for him for a little bit. I would do like video editing and stuff like that. And
Oh,
then
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was fun.
Cool.
And then on the side, I just did like small like edits for like my mural work. So I have like a grasp of it. I'm not like starting from scratch on like everything, but there is a ton to learn. What about yourself? Did you like have that like knowledge getting into this industry?
No, not really. No. Similar to you, I only started streaming be as a way to connect with people who play the game, right? A lot of my friends in real life don't play video games at all. So, I started streaming Hearthstone in 2020 to just talk about it with people who knew how to play. And it's only in December when PoE2 early access started that I really started to take it seriously. So, building the engine while flying the plane has been a word that's been thrown around a lot, and I definitely can't take credit for everything. I've had so much support and help and mentorship from a lot of my friends who are full time streamers, big partnered streamers. And then I also have had big shout out to Celiac Bandit. He's made a huge difference in my stream by helping me out with video editing, clip editing. And so, yeah, it really does take a community, I feel like.
100%. Yo, shout out to Celiac. He's been in my chat a few
Yeah.
times and he's always been super chill. Yeah, like it's a hard thing to learn to do. Like there's a lot of like translated
Yeah.
skills, like video editing, if you know how to use Photoshop for like your thumbnails and like the list
Mhm.
goes on. But one of the really exciting things for me is how like entrepreneurial it is. Like, and it really feels like you get what you put in. And as an entrepreneur, it's like you
Yeah.
have to put in so much effort to kind of see that reward, but it's very like tangible, you know what I mean, when you see that.
Totally. It's hard, I think, where I struggle with the trade-off between, do I spend an hour and a half watching this YouTube video, following it side by side, learning how to use Vegas to edit, or should I be live for that time? Should I be streaming during that time?
Hmm.
And then that's something that you constantly deal with, especially as a freelancer, quote unquote, creator, streamer, whatever you call it. It's balancing different, it's not even work-life balance, it's work-work balance. Like, what should I be working on right now?
Yeah.
Is Am I gonna lose out on, like, 100 gifted subs by not streaming right now? Or am I gonna is it gonna make me, like, 10,000 views if I actually learn how to do this editing thing right now? Like, and so you're kind of just like, I find myself often at, like, a standstill, so I end up staring at the wall, dissociating for, like, an hour instead. And then
And then you
Um,
didn't get either one of those things when you do
yeah,
that.
circling back to your earlier question about balance, we're working on it.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's why I asked this question to be because, like, we're all, like,
Yeah,
figuring it out, and, yeah, it's just, it's fascinating kinda hearing where, like, everybody's at and what stage of balance they're at, like, some people are like, "Oh, my balance is non-existent. I just
right.
I'm" and then some people are, like, locked in, like, Talkative Try, shout out to the homie, I feel like he's so efficient, like, with everything he does. He's got a full-time job, family, kids,
I know,
YouTube channel.
yeah.
He's constantly uploading videos, like, I glaze him all the time. I'll glaze him
He's a
again. Like,
machine.
yeah, I always call him the content machine. Like, he'll
Yeah.
be, radio silent, and then a nude video or a new GGG tweet will come out, and then 5 minutes
Boom, boom,
later,
boom,
there's a
videos
bit. I'm
out.
like, how are you doing this?
The
Like,
devil works hard, but talkative try, that boy works harder. No,
does
totally, and
yeah,
then it's also, for me personally, like, Twitch is obviously my main thing, and streaming is what I wanna focus the majority of my time on, but I do have other things too, and so in the past 6 months, I now have I have a manager, like a talent manager. She sends me on auditions. I'm getting requests for self-tapes. I'm hosting this show. I'm getting pitched by other networks. And then the biggest thing is, although I did resign from full-time corporate stuff, I retained 4 of my clients on a consultant. They retained me as a consultant. So I'm doing that about 10 to 15 hours a week too. So it's just like, "Oh my god. There's not enough hours in the week to make everything work, but somehow we're here and we're doing it. So go us, you know?"
for sure, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I don't know. I feel like for me, it's something that I've sort of thought about. I was actually talking with a young Doc about this, where I was doing like my art stuff, and I was like actually thinking about like more content creation in my head, and I was like, oh no, like what's happening in my brain right
You got
now?
the bug, it's in there.
Yeah, so I don't know, like
Yeah,
we'll see where it goes. I always wanted content creation and streaming to sort of be something that I can really work on during like the winter months and help like supplement that downtime, keep the
yeah,
seasonal depression like tucked away,
totally.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, you're
well,
still creating, right? Instead of even though you're locked inside cold because it's too cold, it is still a form of creation and expression, and so I couldn't totally see that being a good substitute.
for sure. And yeah, like having both of them would just be like the perfect like dream for me as well. So yeah, we'll see how
Yeah.
the future what the future holds.
Yeah, dude, stream yourself painting a giant mural, that would be so cool. Like,
I've
to
I've
watch
had
the
people say
progress.
that too. I just
Yeah.
it's just so different from like the content that I normally watch where it's like very engaging in terms of like I really love when people are interacting with chat and like, having fun together and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And when I'm painting, I'm so like focused on what I'm doing, I can't really like engage really. So I have to figure it out. It could be cool though.
That's
Sure.
true. Could be in the next Blaze Ross over here, you know?
Yeah.
Happy little memories while you're painting,
Absolutely. So yeah, I have to ask you something. So I took a deep dive on your YouTube channel, and you
Oh
shared some,
god.
and you shared some YouTube videos with me as well in preparation for this podcast. So I had a chance to
Yeah.
watch one of them, and you've been on a few of these like kind of online like dating shows. And
Yeah.
so there was one where it was like being stoned, and versus sober, one guy, seven
Oh.
girls, and I actually loved this video so much. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
so talk to me a little bit about like how you even like get started doing those things and like what your experience has been like doing them.
Yeah, so, okay, so my friend Jess, my best friend Jess, she hosts for this network called Jubilee or Nectar. They have 2 channels on YouTube, Jubilee and Nectar, and they do a lot of human interest dating shows. Not only dating shows, they'll do like, 20 liberals versus 1 conservative or something like that, and just they do a lot of interesting pieces. She got picked up by their sister network Nectar to host these dating shows specifically, and they're hilarious and they're really funny, and she kept telling me to get on one, and I would submit and submit and submit, and they would never pick me. And then one day I got the call and they were like, "Hey, we want to have you come in for this show. It's called Shoot Your Shot. It's, 50 people are going to be live. It's like Tinder in real life." And I'm like, "This is so stupid, but why not?" I had just started my medical leave. No, sorry. I was just about to end my medical leave, and have to go back to work, and I didn't know I was going to be able to quit work at this time. So I was like, let me just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what works in terms of exposure and getting out there. So I do that one show, and then that one came out, and I gained like 3,000 followers on Instagram overnight. I was like, what is happening? And then a couple other networks have reached out ever since that one came out, including the High on Love dating weed dating one. And really, like, I just started doing them. I actually can't even. I don't even know why. I guess I wanted the exposure. I wanted to get out there. And this relationship that I was in that ended in January sort of like rocked me. I think it kind of fragmented my brain as a human. So I was like,
Mhm.
let's just go through the motions and see what this situation is like, right? Like I'll do anything for science. So did the first dating video, got cast for a bunch more, and have been having a lot of fun doing it. Sadly, did not find love with the guy from from
Oh,
High On.
no. That was my follow-up. Brian. Oh,
Ah,
Brian.
Brian, I
Brian
know. I'm
was
sorry, Brian.
Brian. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Brian, yeah. Brian is such a lovely human, and again, it's all for clips and it's all for
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure some people maybe find love or date on those shows. I don't know. But mostly everyone I've interacted with in that whole circuit in Los Angeles, especially, they're all just like trying to get exposure and get big out there. It's all for entertainment. But Brian, bless his little heart. I guess spoiler alert, I was picked by him for the High on Love dating thing. And as soon as we wrapped filming, he came up to me and he was like, "Oh no, like for real, let me get your Instagram. Let's exchange numbers, whatever." And I'm like,
Okay.
honey, he's 23. I'm 34.
He's a
You wouldn't know what
baby.
to you wouldn't know what to do with all of this even if you could, you know? And so and then immediately after I give him my Instagram, he adds me to like a nightclub promoter group chat, like a group chat with like 90 women in it, and the guys are posting like hey, we have a table at Warwick tonight. First 15 girls to respond can come through. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? So yeah, that's the YouTube dating scene. Yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like, my partner, she works in reality TV, not in, like, the dating
Yeah.
side of things, but a lot in, like, cooking shows and stuff like that.
Oh, that's
And
sick.
yeah, it's super cool. Like, she's working on,
Yeah.
like, MasterChef, like, US right now, like, helping cast that and stuff, like, it's dope. But
Yeah.
one thing that I've learned is, like, reality TV, especially like competition reality TV, there's a lot of stuff that actually happens that's real and
Yeah.
true and like everything is like unstaged and stuff like that. But there's like yeah, a lot of it that is for those clicks, is for like content, it's for entertainment and stuff like that too. So yeah,
Oh,
it's it's
totally.
uh it's something that I was watching it and I was like, I didn't realize how many people actually like enjoyed this. Like the views are
Neither
massive.
did I.
The
I
views
had
are
no
huge.
idea until my friend started hosting them. I didn't even know that that corner of the internet existed. I had no idea. And
Yeah,
then I see that these videos have like millions and millions of views, and then I look at like the Poppy's network, their Instagram, their reels, their clips have like 24, 34, 44 million views on each of these,
insane.
and I'm just like, what is happening? I've gotten some freaky DMs ever since starting doing all that stuff, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it's just been a blast. Like it's been so fun. And I like, when you look at like Love Island or traditional like network dating shows versus these YouTube shorter 30-minute, 45-minute, maybe hour-long episodic sort of dating shows,
Mhm.
you see this huge contrast. It's so much more lax, it's so much less regulated. It's so silly. Like it's absolutely insane. It's a great time to be alive, really. It's a great time to be doing these things because it feels like the
Yeah.
wild west right now.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the
Um,
exposure is massive. I mean, like you just said, like some
exposure
of
is
these videos have like a million views and a million people are saying, "Hey, like, Vivi's on here. She said she's a Twitch streamer." They're gonna a few of these people are gonna connect the dots and like come, pull up to the stream and stuff like that. So
yeah.
it's
Yeah,
huge.
we've had a bunch of people come in through like I've had a bunch of people come in through the dating videos, and it's been cool. They're probably very quickly disappointed when they realize that I'm like so emotionally unavailable that there'll never be a chance, but I think we have made a lot of cool new community friends
That's awesome.
through the exposure.
Hell yeah. Well, so yeah, sorry to hear that it didn't work out with Brian. I was rooting for him. He picked you at the end. But yeah, I was like, man, this guy's so young. Like, what the heck? Like, they could have picked like maybe someone who didn't look like they just got out of high school. You know what I mean? And maybe
I
make it a bit more
know.
believable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to his credit, poor Brian, he did say that day that he thought that there was gonna be one it was gonna be one girl and 7 guys. He thought he was gonna be one of many and not reversed.
Oh, he
So,
got bamboozled then for sure. He got put on
yeah,
the
he was
spot.
extremely bamboozled, but
Yeah.
It was just such a fun day. Like my face actually hurts from laughing whenever we film these videos. Like it's so funny.
Oh,
So
yeah. It looked like a hilarious time for sure.
yeah.
So do you have any other of those videos coming up? Can you talk about that if there's, like, anything else
Yeah.
going on?
Y yeah, so there's another one just came out last week with Zach Justice, so it's dating based on glow up. So I'm like the 5 girls are behind a curtain and it's like an old photo of them on the front. So he only knows this as like number 1, number 2, number 3. Like tell me about how what was going on in this photo. Yeah, it's a silly goofy one. I highly recommend checking that one out if you guys are into that sort of like content. Um, and then another network, Strawberry Park, which is Noah Boat and this guy Rhino. They're huge. It's actually the biggest network I've shot with. They're doing their own iteration of Will You Press the Button dating. So I was just on an episode of that. We shot that last Tuesday, or was it the Tuesday before? I can't remember. Time isn't real. But that shot recently, so that should be coming out within the next few weeks. And that's the biggest network I've ever worked with. So we'll see what that one does.
Crazy. So big things are happening, big things are happening. That's excellent to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, yeah.
yeah, no, that's huge. Yeah, so speaking of big
It's
things,
yeah.
there was one other big thing that I wanted to ask you, Vivi, and you mentioned this kind of earlier in the conversation. That was with the Universal Music Group Twitch channel that show that you host. So I haven't had a
Yeah.
chance to check that out. For anybody who's listening, like what do you what's going on there over on their channel?
Yeah, it is honestly other than this amazing PoE2 community and being on this podcast, it's probably the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. Universal Music Group has a Twitch channel called 3.5 where we do it's a variety of programming. So sometimes it'll be like new song releases, new track releases. We'll have the artist on and do a live performance of the new track, and then we'll do a deep dive of their album, interview, conversation topics. The main show that I've been co-hosting since April is called The Refresh. So it's basically like a modern day iteration of MTV, specifically geared towards Gen Z. It's run by 1824, which is UMG's subsidiary, like Gen Z label.
Okay.
And so we cover music news, we do artist interviews, but each host is also a Twitch streamer. So it's kind of a spotlight on our personalities as well. I was hamming it up with D-Tune last Friday, and then I'm co-hosting again this week with this amazing musician named Thug Shells. So yeah, we do like wheel spins. Just it's a silly, goofy time, and it's genuinely very interesting and very concise programming. I think it's a great show from a completely unbiased position. It's one of the coolest things I've ever done. We had Doechii on before she won the Grammy. We
That's
had
crazy.
Frankie Grande was on. We had Cynthia Erivo on. We've had just so many cool people. Like it's genuinely one of the coolest things I've ever done. And this year at TwitchCon, I'll actually be at their booth, like doing meet and greets and like hosting for them as one of the now main hosts of the show. So yeah, coolest thing I've ever done. Hi, Cal.
That's incredible. Oh my god. Yeah, just
Yeah,
like yeah. And it's like a completely different experience from the whole like gaming side of things too. So it's kind of cool that you have,
totally.
coming back to this theme of balance again. It's like you're kind of balancing out like, it can be a lot to be like gaming PoE2 all the time. And so like, having, a separate kind of vibe, a separate, kind of entity to, host with and talk music and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do some fun quirky stuff. It just seems like it kind of helps balance out everything as well.
Yeah, it's really fun. I think the balance of personalities they have amongst the hosts, right? Like we have Nee Beats, who's a Twitch ambassador. She's a full-time, like huge DJ. She's a DJ streamer. And then we have D-Tune, right? He's a paranormal, investigative horror game streamer and YouTuber. And he's also a Twitch ambassador. And then we have Dipped in Poison, who is just the internet's big sister. She does like tarot reading and all of this, but all of us are connected by this thread of like loving music and wanting to talk about it. And then we also spotlight on gaming news and like lifestyle news and stuff like that. So it's just like I keep saying, it's just such a cool thing to be involved with. And it's, if you told eighth grade Vivi that she would be doing this one day, I would not believe you. So yeah.
Totally. What did 8th grade Vivi actually wanna do in 8th grade? Like, did she have any idea of what she wanted for her future or flying
Yeah, I
or
wanted to
was she
be
building her engine while flying the plane back then too?
no, I wanted to be a lawyer because I love arguing.
Okay.
Not that I love arguing, and not that I'm, like, a particularly confrontational person. In fact, if anyone's watched my stream, I'm actually very chill and non-confrontational. Yeah, I was interested in being a lawyer, and then I also throughout middle school and high school, I did our school's televised morning announcements, so I was the lead anchor. And then at the end of the day, I would do like the afternoon announcements on the little PA from the principal's office. And so some sort of journalism, some sort of, being on camera, some sort of public eye stuff. And then it was a rapid oscillation between, okay, am I going to like graduate and go to law school? Am I going to graduate and go, what, like, of all the things you can do. So yeah, I guess
So
streaming turned out to be the perfect combination of all those things.
yeah, I was gonna say, it almost seems like it was just a natural progression that at one point. It's not like you really took like too much of a deviation. And if you want to argue, I'm sure there's some people out there that would love to argue about PoE too. So I'm not saying go into Vivi's
Oh, we
chat and
get
do
them in
that.
chat every day.
Don't go in
Oh,
there
man.
and even though she likes to argue sometimes, I'm not encouraging you guys to do that. Go in there and be nice. But yeah, there's lots of people out there who want to argue about PoE too, if that's your thing.
Oh, wait, are there? What? I had no idea.
Just a few, just a
Arguing
few.
backseating in this community? Huh?
You get it
Oh
all.
my
You get it
god.
all as a streamer. It's an all encompassing thing for your interest.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's so great. Like I said, like I wouldn't have believed that I would be doing this. Yeah, it's a really cool way to combine every interest I've pretty much ever had in my life ever, because with streaming you can do gaming, I can do my music stuff for UMG. I can stream myself hanging out with friends IRL. You can do really whatever, and that's what I love about Twitch and streaming in general. It's super cool.
Definitely. And it wasn't even like it was a job like when we were kids. Like this was just an
Yeah.
unheard of profession until like,
Yeah.
semi recently. So it was like, look how times have changed and not that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we are. And the Kai Cenat recently breaking 1 million subscribers is crazy. Like I think it's a good time to be a streamer, especially with all these incentives and initiatives that I see Twitch pushing to bring new viewership to the platform and to further monetize streamers. I think that there's a lot of potential here. And like I said, what a time to be alive.
Definitely. No, I think it's a great time. I think right now a lot of people just love like the entertainment aspect of things and it's just a different form of entertainment from, your usual stuff like watching TV or whatever. Like it's cool, it's more
Yeah.
interactive. There's a lot more like choice that you have with how you interact with that sort of entertainment and not to
Yeah.
get too deep here, but I feel like with AI coming in pretty hot and heavy in the future, like a lot more people are going to need some more entertainment. So, yeah, it's like I feel like
Right.
a good time.
Absolutely. I think live entertainment and the ability to entertain people live is a really underestimated skill that's going to be honed a lot more sharply as AI starts to insert itself into more forms of entertainment and media that we consume. Being able to hold your own in a live setting and not have to like chat GPT everything you're going to say is a skill that I'm hoping to preserve.
Well, we're from an
Yeah.
era where we didn't have that growing up. I don't know how kids these days, I sound like a boomer. I'm sorry, guys. Kids these
Oh, these
days,
youths.
yeah,
Yeah.
these goddamn kids and their chat GPT. Like, it is concerning though. Like, I was a
Yeah.
kid. I was in high school. There was like a few websites that had like book reports or like overviews of like the books that we had to read, but
Yeah.
like that was it. You know what I mean? And like nowadays, it's like all that shit's written by AI for everybody. I don't know
Yeah.
where we're going with that, but it's pretty
Or like
crazy.
turnitin.com. I wonder if their stock has either risen significantly or if they're just completely bankrupt now because ChatGPT. Like I remember having to
That's
turn
it. That's
some of
it.
that
Yeah.
anti-plagiarism software. Yeah, does that
Yeah.
even have a point now? I don't know.
Now it's just AI versus AI versus AI.
Seriously. Oh well,
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd love to sort of talk a little bit more about games with you. Not a little bit more. That's probably going to be the main focus of this podcast. We do talk about games here, guys. Okay, not just AI and streaming, even though those things are interesting too. So
Lamenting the youths.
love, yeah, showing my age really hard tonight, actually. So yeah, I wanted to talk to you more about ARPGs. So you mentioned
Yeah.
Diablo 4. Was that the first ARPG that you ever played, or did you ever try the genre before that game came out?
I played a bit of Diablo 3 actually back in the day, when I was heavily playing WoW.
Okay.
So yeah, I played a bit of Diablo 3, but I wouldn't say it was any more than like 10, 15 hours. I had a pretty crazy series of years. in my early, mid, and late 20s. So gaming was not as much of a priority for me. But over the past few years, yeah, it was really just Diablo 3 and Diablo 4 that got me into Path of Exile 2. Uh,
Crazy.
Whenever I would stream Diablo 4 to my like 10 viewers I would have back then, they would all say, "What about Path of Exile 2? What about Path of Exile? What about Path of Exile?" And so looking into PoE, it was so daunting and so intimidating. And one of the things that I sorry to like tangent a little bit here,
Go
but
for
one
it.
of the things that I really staunchly advocate for in my community is let's not gatekeep and let's not try to scare people away with how complex the game can be, because you can still play the game and not have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of every facet of it, right? Like you don't need to know everything about everything, and I don't think anyone ever will. I don't think even Jonathan himself knows every single thing about every single thing in this game, right? And so coming into it from a casual perspective and just approaching it from a hey, let's make mistakes together has been really cool. And Path of Exile 2 sort of lowered the barrier to people trying to scare me off from playing it. And so, yeah.
I love it. So when you got into Path of Exile 2, did you feel that sort of like I guess that reputation, like that sort of intimidating, like Path of Exile for some reason, I guess it is due to the complexity. It has this sort of like intimidating reputation. Like people see the
Yeah.
passive tree and they're like, "Oh my god, like what
Yeah.
are all of these things?" Did you feel
Yeah.
that as you were like getting into it?
No, I felt like sparkles in my blood. I felt like bubbling with excitement when I saw the trailer for PoE 2 for the first time. I was like,
Nice.
wait, this is Path of Exile? This is what people have been telling me is too hard to play? Like, obviously, it's the second iteration PoE 2, right? But like,
Mhm.
this is what they were talking about then? This is great. Like, every time they tweet, every time they post an update, I'm like vomiting rainbows of excitement. So yeah, it's definitely daunting, right? And I think especially being a girl who streams, it was like, all right, what am I going to get myself into? What is the community going to be like? What is the game
Mhm.
going to be like? Is it going to be too hard? But I was like, fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we ball. We go in.
Hey.
Yeah, so I just went in and started doing it and started playing it, and it's been pretty good so far.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's one of the, biggest W's I think that GGG has achieved with Path of Exile 2 is that it is just more accessible. Like that was kind of the point of
Yeah,
making a second game was like they know that like Path of Exile 1 is being developed for the people that have been playing Path of Exile 1 for 10,000, 20,000, 90,000 hours in some cases for people. And so it's
yeah,
nice to be able to get in on the ground floor and not
yeah,
have all of that like kind of
totally.
overwhelming like content and like crafting and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we're on the same page. Like I never played PoE one before. I played a lot of Diablo. Diablo
Mhm.
2 is like my favorite game of all time. And yeah, there was always sort of that like for me that reputation that kind of hovered over Path of Exile, and it was really like a big turnoff for me. But
Yeah, the
I don't know.
gatekeepiness of it. But PoE 2, people have said in chat before that PoE 2 is like the tutorial for PoE 1.
Yes,
So
100%.
I did play a bit of PoE 1 during the Legacy of Frisia event where you could like cross classes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I played about 80 hours of it, having at that point I had like 500 something hours in PoE 2. And I respect it. And I'm so glad it exists. And it exists so that PoE 2 can exist. And without it, we wouldn't have what we have now. However, the gatekeepers are right. The game is so complicated. Like I was just like, oh nope, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
That's so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah, so I made a video about my experience with Path of Exile 1 because after about like 1,000 hours of PoE 2, I went back and I played PoE 1 for the first time, and I went in basically blind. If you haven't seen this
Uh-huh.
video, you should check it out.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah, it was really cool. So I realized that I had this experience that not many people had, where I played PoE 2 first, and I ended up going back. And this is something that's actually going to be more of a reoccurring experience, I think, where people are going to basically play PoE 2 first and then transition into like playing PoE 1, if they really fall in love with the game like I did. And I gotta say, V, like it wasn't as bad as people think. Like, the game now, like PoE 2 pretty well. You've played it for a long time. I don't know how
Yeah.
many hours you played, but you could probably pick it up pretty easily if you wanted to like hop in.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
and I recommend that to people all the time because there is this weird sort of like tribalism between like PoE 1 and PoE 2 where like I don't know, it's weird. Like we're all part of the same family, but we're like on opposing sides for some reason. And like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like that.
Totally.
And I tell people all the time, like, yo, if you like PoE 2, you're probably gonna like PoE 1 if you give it a chance. It's
Yeah.
just, giving it that chance that's sometimes hard for people as well.
Yeah, I think not being overwhelmed by sockets is the biggest part for me that I
Yeah.
struggled with.
Yeah.
The TLDR of why I don't play PoE 1, too many holes. I just can't deal with it. The
True.
linking and the colors and the chroma orbs and the that and the this. And I know that once you gather enough resources, it'll probably be more approachable. But I'm like, you know what? Let me stay in PoE 2. I'm happy here. I like it. I've got my people, and I love everyone in PoE 1. And I love that PoE 1 is continuing to have a strong player base. And I'll be right here on the PoE 2 side if they're ever ready to come here.
Hell
But
yeah.
I'll love it from a distance.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And that's the
Yeah.
beauty of it, right? It's like you can enjoy one, you can enjoy the other, you can enjoy both.
Yeah.
Like it's all good. And like if you enjoy both, like
Totally.
you're eating good. You get a patch every 2 months and then
Every
you're
2
hop
months, you're
yeah.
set. Yeah.
Like it's a good time to be a GGG fanboy. Like it's awesome.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about your PoE1 experience, which is basically none at this point in time, but well, we'll
80
see. And
hours, okay?
yeah, that's more than I
That's
have right
even
now,
more.
which is crazy. Um, yeah, we talk about PoE in terms of thousands of hours, not in terms of dozens of hours.
Right, right. I think
So
1,000 hours, you're a tourist.
yeah,
Maybe 2,000, you've got, like, a work visa. Um
you figured out a few things. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm,
Um, so I got to ask you, like, PoE2 is a game that you've kind of been streaming and playing now for quite a while. Like,
mhm.
we talked about the community and how like awesome it is. Is there anything else that's like really stuck out to you and like captured you and made you just like fall in love with the game? Like, what about it makes it so awesome in your eyes?
Yeah, I love PoE too because it's like violence and spreadsheets. It's
Mm,
violence and math. And so I was in the tech industry for 12 years as a data analyst, staring at Google Sheets all day, manipulating data to tell the story that I needed it to tell to sell whatever product to whatever client I was speaking to. Like that's the way my brain works, pattern recognition, stuff like that. And so PoE 2, I'm manipulating this character across the screen, manipulating these passive points, balancing these statistics, pulling up POB, doing stuff like that to drive a desired outcome, which is big strong character who kills shit.
yes.
And so I think like zooming out from a very zoomed out perspective, there's a lot of structural similarities, or at least that's the justification I've given myself. And it just it scratches some itch in my brain that no other game has been able to thus far. So yeah.
It makes sense. I think a lot of people that I talk to who are part of the community are like in sort of this like I don't know, tech industry or something that has to do with numbers or analytics or something. And I feel like it kind of like scratches the like satisfying
Yeah.
itch for people where like, there's a lot of that stuff like planning. There's like, you can organize your stash for like an hour and it just feels good to just come back and have everything like in its place. And you can do that with your character too and set everything up perfectly. So I totally feel you on
Yeah.
that. Like there's a lot of nice stuff going on that can, scratch that itch if that's what you're into.
Yeah, totally. And it's also like I think I don't want to call myself like a goth girl, but like the tattoos, bangs, dark hair, the aesthetics of PoE 2 are just really great.
Yeah,
I
it'd be
love
weird if you were
demons and
playing
I love
Torchlight. It
monsters.
wouldn't match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a crab head on my witch. It's great. Like
That's awesome.
the aesthetics are just peak.
It's so good.
Um
It's so
yeah.
inspired by Diablo 2 in like all the best ways.
Yeah.
And
What's
yeah,
that new boss that's like straight up it looks like a Diablo boss? It's in one of the interludes or act 4, but
oh yeah.
um
There's like a
there's
yeah, like a demon
it's
comes out
like
of
straight up from Diablo. I'm like,
yeah.
"Wow."
It's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it doesn't it's not a bad thing also the game is just incredibly beautiful and like the music and like the vibes, the animations, like everything just feels so good to play like, when you're playing the game. It all comes together. There's a lot of good stuff going on with the game for sure. And
Yeah.
I am very addicted. It's a good time.
Yep, it is a good time.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about zero point 0.3 as like the our most recent patch, like our most recent big patch. Was there anything that sort of like stuck out to you as like a huge W for you? Like was it like sprinting? Was it like the campaign rework, crafting? Like give me sort of your breakdown. Like what do you love about zero point 0.3 up to this point?
Not having to fight Jamun Ra twice in campaign. Amazing. I hate that boss with all my heart. He almost made me quit the game. This is back when I first started playing. I refused just to look at a build guide because I was like, "No, I can do this myself."
Love
I
it.
could not do it myself. I could not do it myself. Um, PoE 2, you don't have to struggle. Look at a build guide.
Yeah.
And so yeah, getting rid of Acts 1 through 3 Cruel has been incredible. Love it. Campaign is much less of a slog, it feels like now. I love the new trade system. I love the abyss mechanic. I got my nails done actually to match the abyss.
Oh, shit. That looks
Yeah,
sick.
like, as soon as the trailer came out, I was like, "Oh, this looks so cool. I'm gonna get that on my nails." I
Nice.
love the abyss crafting. The fact that crafting exists really, because before it felt like crafting was more like, those scratchy lotto card tickets?
Yep.
It's like you've already purchased this thing, now you just gotta see what it contains via using an exalt to use an exalt and scratch it
Yeah.
off, but now you can
Yeah.
manipulate the outcome a little bit more effectively.
Mhm.
So yeah, major dubs in 0.3, and like I was saying earlier, I think GGG is just so awesome in that they really listen to and incorporate with some alacrity player feedback. Um, so yeah, crafting, sprinting, abyss, trade, it's all so good. It's such a good update.
Yeah, I agree. The game is in the best place it's ever been, and I
Yeah,
actually did say that after zero point 0.2, even though, in zero point 0.2, it kind of was, like, off to a bit of a rocky start, and a lot of people, like, quit the game because of that, but after, like, that initial first couple weeks, like, they dropped some banger patches too that made the game, like, significantly better, and that's
yeah,
sort of the track record that they have with PoE 2 right now, where it's like they really are listening to what we want, and
yeah,
like, I can only like, it's hard to imagine what the game's gonna be like in 1.0 with, like, stuff like I don't know about you, but I've always viewed, like, patch 0.3 as something that Blizzard would, like, sell me as an expansion pack. They'd be like, "Yo, shell out, like, $50 and you can have all these changes and all that kinda stuff," and it's like, GGG just is giving that to you for free as, like,
right.
the 3rd big patch of a game that's n nowhere near being done yet, so, yeah, it's just really exciting, to see what the future holds
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, like they really give you a lot of new content with every league update. And
Mhm.
I guess Diablo 4 does do that too to a degree with every new season, but oh, I feel bad. I'm not like slandering Diablo 4, but I just can't find a way to be interested in it anymore. So, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about this in my stream today where it was like we kinda compared, like, and this is no hate to you if you have an iPhone, but, like, we compared, like, having playing Diablo 4 to, like, be like, using Apple products where it's just, like, a nice, smooth, easy to use experience. Not that much depth, though, but, like, playing PoE is like you're on, like, Android or, like, you got a PC and you're, like you like, the inner workings of everything, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
you have a
kinda
more modular brain. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
no
Totally.
shade, guys.
No
If you like
hate.
Apple, Apple's
Yeah.
great. I just find myself personally, I'm more of a PC Android guy for sure.
Very fair. Very fair.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me a bit about how you engage with the game. So like, what league do you play on? Softcore, trade, hardcore? What's your play style? What's your favorite class? All that fun stuff.
Yeah. So the way I approach the game is it's okay to be bad. It's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are how we learn. Fail forward. Face check things if you want, if you care. I don't really care what my death count is. I don't have some goal of like trying to keep it low or whatever. I'm like, hey, what if I switch this ring with this ring and lose all my res on this place, but I gain like 50% more like spell damage or something like that. Okay, let's do that and then let's run a map and let's see if we die. Like I equate endgame especially to like Beyblades. You construct your little fighter while you're in hideout and then you let it rip in the arena in a map. And so the way I like to play and the way I like to run my stream too is just mapping, yapping, hanging out, talking about the stuff that we find, talking about the things that we're trying. Somebody was like, debating, specking into mind over matter. And then someone else was like, well, you're going to need this and you're going to need that. And they're like, oh, that's super helpful. And then somebody else was like, I actually have this item that you need. So it's just a very like friendly, chill, have fun playing the game together approach versus, there's so many talented gamers and streamers who are just very technically brilliant and very perfect and almost flawless, and I love that they exist so that people can go there for that. But
Yeah.
for me, my chat, we chill. We're big chillers in my chat. So yeah,
Nice. Okay. So trade league, chilling, trying stuff out, experimenting. Oh, that's great. And
yeah,
Yeah, it's another reason why I love the game too, is, like, there's a different way to play for everybody. Like, you can be the most sweaty, like, person playing hardcore solo self-found, like some of us do, and then you can also be out here on
Gee, I
softcore.
wonder, like, who does that?
Yeah, just trying their best not to die after sinking 80 hours into character, or you can just be having fun, like, experimenting with your build and or making currency and trading, like, oh my god, I can
Yeah.
only imagine, like, how good the trading is now for, like, you guys trading out there, like, it must be insane.
The the economy is booming, let me say. Not only do we have div drops, we're getting more deterministic crafting. We're getting, base items are selling. I randomly found a wand in my inventory. You know when you're like running maps and you accidentally click on stuff sometimes if your loot filter's not strict enough?
Mhm.
I found a wand in my inventory that was a white crafting base, eye level 80, and it sold for 26 div. Like, the economy's booming. Trade League is great. It's kind of gross, actually. I love it. I've got more div sitting in my stash right now than I even know what to do with, literally. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's
yeah.
crazy. I feel like this is another huge W that I forgot to mention was just, like, making different things valuable for different reasons. Like, this kind of
Yeah.
relates back to Diablo 2, where, like, in Diablo 2, every sort of, like, variant of an item had its own purpose. So, like, the normal items, the white items, the blues, the yellows, the uniques, like, all of these things were, like, valuable in their own way. And this kind of, like, got lost a bit in, like, Diablo 4 and Diablo 3, I feel like. There was, like, a certain emphasis on, like, set items, unique items, and, like, that was kinda it. Like, if you found a blue item, you'd be like, "Why would I even look at this?" Where
Right.
now, like, with the exceptional bases in PoE 3 or PoE 2, it's like, we can get 3 sockets on stuff, and that, like, is
Yeah.
so desirable, and that's just another reason to, like, pick up stuff off the ground and sell it, and, yeah, it's super cool to have that, like, as a moneymaker as well.
Yeah, and it's really helpful to people who have a playstyle similar to mine, which is I'm a blaster. Like, I don't read maps, I don't read mods, I don't read I'll look for like quantity on my precursor tablets, but other than that, I'm just like orb it up and then throw it in and run the map. Like,
Yeah.
if you die, you die. But
Yeah.
for the most part, you just like I can blast through like as many maps as I want without having to worry about stuff. And there's still hope for people like me to make some to or carve out a humble div income
A few schmeckles here and there.
via selling crafting bases
Yeah.
while I accept my position.
Oh, that's sweet. Um, so to my knowledge, you've basically been playing, like, The Witch. Has that been, like, your main class for, like, the whole time you've been playing, or have you tried other classes? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I can't even slander Deadeye players because I played a Deadeye last league.
Mhm.
I also I played Witch or Necromancer or Acolyte in any like Last Epoch, Diablo 4 esque in any ARPG game. I tend to go for a class that will allow for minions and synchronizes best with minions. And obviously in PoE 2 right now, Witch is really great with minions, especially Infernalist. So I'm not a witch main, but I mainly play witch. That being said, I do want to learn other classes and I do want to do other stuff. So I'm currently leveling a monk. I believe I'm going to go for the invoker ascendancy, but I'm leveling it with a bow and arrow. I'm following actually another streamer 787 Prada's build guide
Nice.
for a bowvoker monk. And so just seeing the like how different things play styles can be is really really cool. I'm very excited for Shadow to come out because that playstyle was extremely fun in PoE 1 when I played. So yeah, I'm not locking myself to playing Witch, but it is the class I feel the most comfortable with. I actually
Nice.
got a tattoo of the rune for Witch on my body right here. So
Oh, that's sick.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I really like the Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's cool that you're branching out and trying new stuff because that's just sort of how you get even more entertainment out of this game. Like it's amazing to like deep dive on a class and learn all of the different things, the passive tree, how it all works for that class. But like then you can do that for every other class. And it's like, oh my God, like the amount of time you can spend like in this game sometimes is crazy depending on how much you want to get out of it. And it's cool to hear that like you're going for monk. Like I'm playing monk right now and yeah, it's super fun. Completely different from Minions though. Like I feel like it's
yeah.
a lot more like engaging because you're like doing all the damage yourself versus all your minions.
Yeah, it's I love minions right now because in endgame level 97 invoker, I can just infernalist, I can just run through the map and
Yeah.
everything dies.
Yeah.
Like perfect for streaming
It
because I can
is.
just yap while everything, and then occasionally I have to like hit my convalescence or spam a health pot, or since I have mind over matter spec'd in now, I got to hit my mana pot, which is now my secondary health pot. Like I
Yeah.
just you just got to keep yourself alive and let the ants do the rest. Oh, maybe give them a little pain offering as a treat, but other than that, like you're chilling. So I love the AFK playstyle.
Yeah, those ants are like cracked this league. Like it's actually insane. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I've actually never tried minions, and it's definitely on my radar for something that I want to try as well. Just to like, yeah, again, try some new shit and just experience what the game has to offer.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've got you with any advice, any questions. That's the one thing I do feel confident speaking to is minion synergy and which skill trees. So
Love that. I'm gonna be like, yo, where do I get those ants from? Because I want those in my army for sure. I have no idea where they even are.
exclamation point ants, not in this chat, but in mine.
Oh,
I
you
got you.
actually have a command? No way. All right.
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people ask.
that's
But
sick.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Nice. So you've had some pretty crazy luck in this particular league. I don't know what your luck was like before in 0.2 or 0.1. But you've had like, some insane luck. So talk to me a bit about like, some of your favorite moments so far in like PoE 2. Was it like, these crazy drops or, give me the scoop on that.
Yeah, yeah, the drops have been crazy good. I think playing with 116% rarity and dropping a Hinakora's lock from a regular tier 15 map, like there was no delirium, there was no abyssal modifier on it, just got a little lock. And the double irony of it dropping as I was literally saying this game is so great, I love this community, everyone's awesome, and
Yeah.
then boom, like lock drop. I was like, what is happening? Um, but yeah, I think in '01 and '02, I was just focused on not dying. It's only in '03 as I get more familiar with the game and get more adept at navigating the different modifiers, that I can even start to prioritize things like rarity. So I don't know if my rarity has anything to do with it or if it's just pure streamer luck, but my God, the drops have been great. I think that I'm the only person I know of who has actually gotten anything useful out of a reliquary vault. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. Luck is on my
Nice.
side. Streamer client confirmed.
Yeah, that's insane. I've never seen a headhunter in the game. I have like 1,400 hours. I've never seen a lock. So yeah, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good in
Yeah.
0.3 for sure.
It's crazy how much headhunters have gone down in value from like 2 weeks ago though. They were selling for like 70 div and now they're down to like 30-ish or something. It's pretty crazy. So maybe your headhunters is out there though, because it seems like the drop rates have been increasing.
I feel like
So
everyone's gotten one but me. I kind of feel like that one kid who like doesn't have a cell phone and like everyone's pulling up to class and like texting each other and I'm like I'm here like writing notes to my friends still, like sending them via like
yeah.
carrier pigeon. So yeah, I'm hoping that I
All
can get
right.
a cell
Yeah,
phone soon.
I'm gonna start a not a fundraiser, but a drive. Everybody give me your white heavy belts so we can give them to Blaze. He's got to get his headhunters. We're gonna start farming white heavy belts for you. You got to have your moment, bro. It feels so good when it happens, especially if the camera's on and you're on stream because you're like, oh, that's gonna be a clip. That's gonna be great. Like it's gonna be wonderful.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. And I want to try it. I know they're kind of risky and hardcore because if you get Shroud
Oh,
Walker,
true.
it like teleports you right into like the shit and that's kind of
Yeah.
where I don't love to be all the time. But it's still just like a crazy thing to have. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I put it on my witch just for, funsies because I
Yeah.
had it. And I was like, this is actually horrible for me. This is very bad. It was like TPing me away from my minions and I'm squishy as hell. I'm weak as hell. I am operating my character runs on like energy shield and fumes, all right? 50% of my health bar is reserved. So it's
Yeah.
like TPing me across the crevasse away from my ants and I have to XX like double X weapon swap really fast to respawn them next to me
Yeah.
and I still died. So after about a day of playing with Headhunter on my witch, I was like, nope. But I did just get to the level where I can use it on my monk, which is it's 50, I believe. So yeah, I just got to level 50 on my monk and I'm
Nice.
using it and it is pretty nice. It's pretty nice for when it makes sense, but I can totally see how it would be risky for hardcore.
Yeah, but it's kind of
Hardcore
badass to use it
playstyle.
on hardcore too. Like you're just like running around teleporting into stuff. But yeah, so I wanted to ask you, speaking of hardcore, like I know you said on the podcast, like this is not the way I would play the game. It's not the way I enjoy the game. But like, what if there was like a sub goal for you to do like a hardcore run? Like, would that ever be like a thing you'd be interested in doing? And Vivi, I ask you this because I truly believe that if you tried it, you would enjoy it. It would be fun. It's completely different than Trade League. You kind of have to lock in sometimes, but the viewers want to see the rip clips. It's what it's all about. It's a good time. So would you try it, even if there was like a, I don't know, some sort of sub goal?
I mean this with the utmost respect. Fuck no, baby. I'm
Okay.
not doing it. I cannot. I like the emotional attachment to the outcome would be too high for me. I would be so sad if I died when I died. And unless it's a witch, maybe I could do a witch. I don't know, maybe. But like the monk, I'm so not used to playing melee, for example, that on the monk I died to Bloated Miller like 5 times. My first time ever playing a melee character or melee weapon in PoE 2, right? So sure, I could say yeah, we'll do it, but again, I'm silly. I like to just run into things and see what happens. I like to face check my build, face check my stats, and if I die, I die and then I go refix it or fix it again. So I just feel like hardcore isn't really conducive to my fuck around and find out playstyle. Um, and I just don't want to be sad. I know it just goes to standard league anyway, but if I'm starting out with the knowing, oh, it's just gonna go to standard if I die anyway, then why not just start in standard? Because I know I'm gonna die,
Yeah.
you know?
I
So
I I totally understand. I totally get it.
some
I always ask this to any guest who hasn't played because I truly believe that it is just another way to experience the game that's completely different. And I've fallen in love with it because it's just it gets the blood pumping, it gets your heart beating fast. Like all of these things that you have to do are like
clinical anxiety. My blood's already pumping.
yeah.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm also insane, so that's all. There's also that. All right. Well,
I will say though, I wouldn't be opposed to someday, perhaps I would try solo self-found. Not hardcore, but SSF is maybe interesting. And the
ooh.
reason I think about this is strictly because of backseating. The backseating is so insane, even though like I don't disallow backseating. I don't say no backseating allowed because I want people to feel like they can contribute to a conversation and help out
Mhm.
others in the community. And even if it's something that they're telling me that I already know, maybe somebody in my chat doesn't know. And so it's still helpful, right? But my God, sometimes. And then I really like, it would be an entirely different way to play the game. Like you would have to look at loot. You couldn't just blast. You would have to be more conscious. You would have to be more aware. You would have to learn crafting. I would have to use the godforsaken recombinator finally, right?
Yeah,
Um
that thing's got so much dust on it in your hideout. It
I know
hasn't seen
I have so much of the currency for
yeah.
it that I'm just like, "Oh my god, I feel guilty not using it." So SSF maybe hardcore fuck no baby. But halfway compromise someday perhaps.
Oh, that's good. I love to hear that. SSF is the first step to starting to play hardcore because you're
I know,
already
I'm like, "Is
like
this the gateway drug
it
though?"
is.
Like,
That is weed. Hardcore is crack. You'll get there eventually. But yeah,
I've
like
already got cocaine ants, okay?
yeah, there you go. You're already halfway there. No, I think SSF you would really like it. But sorry, just to kind of rewind a little bit. You're talking
Yeah,
about backseating.
yeah.
So how would I might be missing the point here. How would SSF like reduce the amount of backseating that there is?
I think that with the way backseating occurs in my stream now, a lot of it is just like, well, why don't you get this item? It would be so much better for you. Or why don't
Mm.
you get this? Like, or you have 276 div. Why haven't you gotten a +5 skill level instead of +4 on your scepter? Or like, da da da. Da. Like, just like, shut the front door. Let me play the game how I want to play the game.
Ah, I get it. I get
And
it. Yeah.
in SSF, it can be I haven't found it yet, obviously, so shut up, you know?
Mhm.
Just yeah, and like that's me being sensitive. I know that a lot of backseating generally stems from a place of wanting to be helpful. But yeah, to Step Bro's point, the constant need for optimization of other players' builds is really crazy. And I don't get upset or offended or bothered by it because again, I know it stems from a place of wanting to be helpful. But my God, I think the freedom of just playing SSF and being like, oh, well, don't have it because I haven't found it. What do you want me to do? Sorry, buddy. Like, I think that would be really cool. I think that'd be really, really cool.
Absolutely. It would be that and also like you'll find, if you haven't played SSF before, like, there's so much more, excitement because as an SSF player, I can speak to, like, everything just means so much more when you have nothing and when you're down atrociously like you
Yes.
are in
You
SSF.
value it so much more.
Yeah, it's really nice. Like, when
Yeah.
you start finding stuff that's upgrade for your character that you didn't, like, trade for, that you had to, like, craft or and stuff like that, like, yeah, I'm really
Yeah.
excited for you to experience that eventually because it is just, like, a really special feeling as well.
Yeah, no, I can imagine it. I will. I'm again. It's not never. It's just not right now. I was watching another streamer friend Nugra and only. I was watching his hardcore run and like he had some exalts in his inventory and just to put things in perspective of how far removed I am from SSF.
Mhm.
He was like he had like 3 exalts and he was like, "Ooh, should I use this?" And the piece of gear he was looking at exalting was like pretty decent. And for me, like I would be like, "Hell yeah, spam it. Like load it up." And he was like, "You know what? No, 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 it's not worth it. It's not worth it." I'm like, "Oh, wow, you've got to be extremely conservative on
Mhm.
SSF versus me. I'm just like, I'll tell chat like, "Oh, I really want to try crafting this thing," and someone will like throw the div in the guild stash, and I'm just like, "Wee!" And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I have to become a heck of a lot more currency responsible before I can
Well, with
get
your
into SF.
RNG, you're probably gonna be finding more exalts than
True.
all of us, with the, the double headhunter and the lock, so I feel like, you can ride that wave and you'll probably have, a good time as well.
True, true. I have a friend who dropped an Astromentus and a Headhunter within the first like
Oh my
I don't
god.
know few days of a SSF run. So I believe, I have faith.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, no.
GGG will our RNGesus will continue to bless me.
Every time you open up an abyssal cache, you just have to be like, "I love this game. I love this community. It's so great." And then just boom, explosion of like 700 exalts just fly out.
Look, attitude of gratitude, but I also know that I would be like, the meme of SpongeBob when he's like dehydrated, he's in Sandy
Yeah.
Cheeks' little dome and he's like, "I don't need it. I don't need it."
Yeah.
That would be me looking at my exalts, wanting to spam them on my gear, but knowing that I shouldn't.
Mhm.
I'm like, "I definitely don't need it." And then I end up using it and then it'll brick. So, yeah,
Uh,
one day. I'm not even at 1,000 hours yet. I'm at like 950 something. So,
you're so
maybe for
close.
my should I
Yeah.
do one for my 1,000th hour celebration? I don't know.
I mean, I'm always gonna be an enabler when it comes to playing SSF because I just love it so much. I don't think I can ever go back to trading. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't played trade since 0.1.
Okay, but you haven't played the new trade then. There's something so nice about logging in for the first time that day and seeing that beautiful Lady Ange in your hideout with a glowing little sigil above her head. And you're just like, oh, yeah, it's like collecting your allowance for the work you did the day before,
For
like
sure.
leaving things in trade and then logging into a paycheck every day. It's super nice. Sometimes it's an exalt, sometimes it's like 20 div. Either way, it's cool. It's like it's some sort of like gambling addiction trigger, right? Like it's really nice. Like it's satisfying.
100%. No, it gives you another reason to log in. It's like not only are you excited to like just play the game, but you're also excited to like
Yeah.
check Ange and see what she's got if she's got a little bit of money for you.
Yeah,
And
and you
yeah.
also don't have to whisper 80 people where when
Oh
none
my
of them
god.
respond and that like it's
Yeah,
just or when it gets later in the game like in terms of stacking currency and how I mentioned earlier the economy is booming, etc. I think a lot of that is due to obviously to the new trade thing because previously if I had something that I could price at like 20 exalts, if I'm in late game, if I'm like level 96, 97 and just blasting maps, I'm not going to bother to do that because I'm not going to go back to my hideout to do some whisper trade bullshit.
mhm.
Now I can make more residual income by just putting something up for a few exalts, 20 exalts, 50 exalts, whatever. And it actually does sell because people need leveling gear too. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm still, like, in shock that that's in the
Yeah,
game,
what do
like,
we what do we gotta do to get you over to the trade side? We've
I
talked
don't
about
even
getting me to
know.
SSF.
I was thinking, like, do I do a trade league sub goal? Because all everybody that hangs out in my chat for the most part is all, like, hardcore and, like, SSF, pilled,
Yeah,
and
true.
to kinda build off of what you were talking about, like, the whole whispering thing and the trade site and all that kind of stuff, like, that
Yeah.
was the reason why I stopped playing trade because I didn't like how, like, clunky and, like, how much friction there was for that. But I actually have, like, no excuse right now. Like, they've introduced, like, a way to solve that. So it's just
Yeah.
like, what
Well,
like, I don't know. Yeah.
Not to sell it too hard because I think everyone should play the way they want to play, but from a content creator perspective, I think it's also a lot easier to play trade slash softcore
For
because
sure.
if you die, you don't lose all the progress you've made. So you can continue to make content around whatever build you're doing or whatever character you're doing versus like, oh man, I had a really cool concept for this act 4 boss fight, but I just died. So hold on, I got to regrind all the way to get there. Like having the ability to die without it kind of ruining your run is really cool. But then again, to someone's point in chat earlier, if you die, you just go to softcore anyway. So
For sure. No, no, you're
yeah,
absolutely right. I think that like for me, and I've kind of said this a few times on the podcast, but I love reiterating this. Like, I play games to have fun, and I've discovered through like HCSSF for me, like that's the most fun that I've had playing this game. Like way more fun than Trade League. And I don't just play the game to make content. Like I play first and foremost to have fun, and then I make content based around like the ways that I'm having fun doing it. And if that's like a build guide, or if that's a podcast, or if that's like a death montage, like those are kind of all aligning in that thing. Like,
true.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's like the prio for me. But if I ever stop having fun in hardcore, I will log back into Trade League for sure, 100%.
How do you keep a straight face when you die in hardcore and you know the camera's on you and people are watching? I would be like I would just have water flowing out of my eyes. Like I would just feel
That's what they
like,
want to
I
see.
admire the
That's what they
hardcore
want.
players are on some other on another level. Y'all wake up and eat glass for breakfast and, like, I don't know, you people are crazy, but I respect it. I respect it because I could never, so
Yes. But I think we've
yeah.
established a middle ground of like SSF is like where we can like shake hands and be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
like, you know. But yeah, I think when you die the first time in hardcore, it really hurts because you get like, especially if you get really far. Like when I started playing, I
Yeah.
got so attached to all my characters. Like I was like, oh my God, like we're bonding, we're like gearing up together, we're playing through the campaign and all this shit. And then after you die like 50 times, it kind of just stops being super painful. Yeah.
See restarts, so you've that's the other thing, that's the other reason I can't play hardcore. The idea of having to start campaign again and fight Jamantha, I call him Jamantha because he's a bitch,
Samantha,
but
Jamantha.
Jamantha,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Yeah.
idea of having to restart and fight Jamantha again, miss me with that. Miss me with that. I
For
respect.
sure.
Pav is saying he does no cam so he can cry in peace. That might be the tech. That might be the tech.
Honestly, I can see why. Shout out to Pav. He came on the podcast a few episodes ago and he did like the
Yeah.
face reveal for like his community and our community like on the podcast, which is super cool. So, absolute awesome guy, solid streamer. And yeah, he cries in
Shout out.
peace when he dies. Although I keep telling him, I'm like, dude, turn on the webcam. Like you die so much, Pav. No shade, but you die, you die so much. We need to get those clips, bro. We need those
True.
clips.
True. True.
It should be a requirement to play hardcore with the face cam on because I don't know the death clips are the best.
I want to see the pain in your eyes. See, you just admitted that you people are crazy. Like
I'm just kidding, homie. I'm just kidding. It's all love.
no, no, we're just kidding, Pop. I don't want anyone to be in pain, but hey, if that makes you guys, if that's what you guys have fun doing, go for it. It is mild sadism. It really is. I think.
Definitely. Yeah,
That's
and
my POE two hot take. Like,
no, it's not a hot take. I feel like it's we all deep down we all know it's true. As much as we don't want to admit it sometimes. Um
so
yeah,
true.
so I just have a few more like PoE2 questions and then
Yeah,
we can get into some sort of like closing questions. Also, I wanted to check in with you. We're at like an hour and 17, like almost like an hour and 20. How are you doing and how are you feeling right now?
feeling great. I'm chilling.
Okay.
My contacts are driving me crazy. So sorry, my eyes keep watering. But other than that, we're great.
Okay.
Um,
Nice. Well, yeah,
I'm crying at the thought of dying in hardcore.
yeah.
But yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, I just wanted to see if you had any like issues with the game right now. We've talked a lot about sort of what we love about the game and all the fun we're having, but I think it's important to talk about sort of things that can be improved upon. On the odd chance that GGG hears this and sort of implements our feedback. What sort of things would you say to them as sort of like things that you would love to see changed in the game to make it better?
Delirium is so hideous. Get rid of it. It hurts my eyes. I'm the queen of lucky loot drops lately, and I'm missing out on getting more juice out of my maps because I refuse to delirium them all because it's just so ugly and such an eyesore. Granted, this is somewhat of a self-inflicted problem because there was one day where I was like, I'm just gonna run delirium all day because there were so many people in my community backseating, being like, "Why aren't you doing delirium?" So I was like, "Fine." So I did a 12-hour stream where it was all delirium maps. And now it's like, when you're hungover, if you smell the alcohol the next day, you want to throw up. Now I
Yeah.
feel like that looking at delirium. I'm just like,
Yeah.
ugh. Granted, they did make improvements. They added a little bit more color back in. It's not entirely grayscale now, but it's still hideous. And it also like one of my favorite things about the game is how beautiful it is. And you're telling me you cover that all up with this ugly gray smoke that makes it so ugly to look at? No. So that's my biggest gripe. Um I love GGG and I love the game. I'm not like talking shit, but I am talking shit about Delirium. So,
For sure. No, I agree. Like, I feel the exact same way about Delirium as you do. Like, the game is so visually beautiful, and I don't want like this like fog of grayscale like covering that up.
yeah.
What do you think are some ways that they could like work around that or like change that?
I don't know. I mean, I thought about just removing the grayscale factor altogether, but I understand what they're trying to achieve via having that fog be there. So maybe just continue to do what they've already done in terms of improvement, which is make it just less. It's still there, it's just less. That could be a fair trade-off. They clearly are attached to having this mechanic in there and having it be a visual mechanic. And I also think that it's, part of the point of having delirium is to make it more visually complicated and more difficult to see. So I get it. I really do. But yeah, just it's like up the visual clarity by like 10%, please. Even just adding some color back in somehow. Make it a mystical purple fog. I don't care. Just figure it out, please, because I want to juice my maps fully, but I
Yeah.
can't at this point.
For sure. No, that's a great point. Giving some sort of way. There's a few different things that I've kind of seen floating around about like solving this issue. One of them was like giving people like agency with like a slider. Like you can go into your options and be like delirium grayscale intensity, like turn it to zero.
But
And it's like there's some
who would pick
psychos
the
out there
highest
that want to be
hardcore
immersed.
players?
No, not even this hardcore player. Not even this guy. So that's an option. Like if people want to like, walk through the delirium mirror, you have the option to like choose how immersed you feel. One that I
Yeah.
thought was kind of cool was like you go through the mirror and like the edges of your screen, like how when you're about to die, like the edges of your
Yes,
screen
like
turn
have
red.
it just
Yeah, like
have
keep
it
the
gray.
grayscale on the edge, and then
Yeah,
there's like a really dead stat in the game called like light radius, which means
light
nothing.
radius.
And imagine
Yeah.
if you like if you had light radius for whatever reason, like more color exists in like delirium or something like that, or you have like less of
Wait,
the
wait.
effect.
I'm scared that we speak that into existence as a stat, another dead stat on items. In addition to light radius, we'll now also have like color density percentage or
No, no,
something
no,
like
no! Don't do it,
like
GGG.
please,
Don't do
please, you use a
it.
perfect exalt and you just get fucking like, perfect exalt with an omen and you get perfect exalt. You get a light radius and color saturation. I would jump off a building.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be horrible.
no, yeah.
But yeah, there's a few ways to work around that. I think that could make it better for everybody. Because yeah, right now it's just like it's so like like visual aesthetic should not be a reason to not do something. Like it should be like
Yeah.
encouraging you to do something, right? In the game.
Right, and
Yeah,
again, it's blaster erasure. Like you're preventing blasters like me from getting the most valuable loot because we can't visually stand the uh
yeah.
the effect. Another visual gripe I have, because again, like as pertains to like gameplay mechanics, things like that, there's obviously things that could be improved, but I don't feel like it's super necessary to complain about stuff right now because we're still in early access and things are still being improved. So
Hmm.
while there is room for improvement, we could air our grievances. And my other one is another visual one, and it is the row amount. So here's my other Path of Exile 2 hot take.
Okay.
The row amount looks stupid as frick. The row amount looks so dumb when you walk on it. It doesn't look like you're a cool person running through this world fighting monsters and saving it. It looks like you're on a drunk chicken.
Yeah.
And I want them to change it and give us better mounts or different mounts. I don't even care. Better is subjective. I just want visually different mounts because it looks weird. So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh no. All the Roa players out there that are hearing this are going to be so mad. But yeah, like the chicken,
I
it's
know.
not it, guys. It's not it.
It's not
So
no, and I have to use it for the build, for I'm doing Prada's,
yeah.
Invoker Monk, so Row is a big part of it, so I've gotta suck it up and just know that I'm gonna look silly, but I think it looks silly.
So do you think that there should be ways to sort of earn like different like types of mounts, or do you think that it's like a
Yeah.
strictly like an MTX angle? Like where do you stand on that?
I think if we have sprinting as a way of moving more quickly, why can't we get like a flying mount that we unlock when we hit level 100 or something cool like that, you know? It was the same thing in World of Warcraft. You could get mounts, and then as you level up, you eventually get better mounts and flying mounts and this and that. I
Mhm.
know that they want to keep move speed restricted. And then I also see like the specific idea of a flying mount being problematic because of like ground speed, ground effects, like, ignited ground, chilled ground, etc. So I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but yeah, I think a varied mount system could be cool to eventually add in.
Yeah, I think that there's other cool creatures in the game too, and like they have that whole like companion system. What if somehow you were
Yeah,
able to like there was a set amount of beasts that you could like turn into your companion that you could use as like a skin for your mount? Like imagine riding on one of
yeah.
those
And
massive
for
elephants or
MTX,
something. I don't know, like
yeah,
something like that, like where you could like
yeah.
choose
I
from
want to
all
ride
of the
one of the ants. I've got 8 ants with me. Why can't I ride one of those instead of this silly little Roa?
exactly, that
You
would
know?
be sick. Like, if there was, like, I don't know, like, 20 or, like, whatever types of creatures that you could actually, like, tame as your mount and use that as, like, a skin. And then I think it's safe to say that, like, in the future, there's gonna be, like, Roa skins or, like, Roa cosmetics,
I
100%.
have a Roa cosmetic. I got it
Okay.
from the box trying to get the cat companion, the Sphinx cat. So
Mhm.
I opened 3 of the treasure boxes at the start of the league, and one of the things I didn't get the cat, I did not, but I got a Roa skin. It's like Kaori. It's like a Roa in a hula skirt
Oh,
type of
shit.
vibe.
Okay.
Maybe it'll make me hate it less. I don't know. We'll see.
So what would
I've
be
been putting
like
it off.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So what would be, like, your perfect mount, like, like, aside from, like, an ant, like, if you could design, like, the perfect, like, skin for, like, a Roa, like, what would it look like?
All black with red eyes.
Mm.
Like a little goth
Mhm.
Roa. Yeah,
Mhm.
I also have my companion, or not companion, but little MTX pet that I use is the bat, and it's so cute. It's a little bat with red eyes, and I think just, you know, more goth representation in the MTX store could be pretty cool.
Yeah, 100%. It fits like, like that executioner, like supporter pack, like something like that.
Yeah,
Like, that stuff looks badass as hell. And like, yeah, more stuff in that.
yeah,
That's kind of where my like taste goes for ARPG stuff too. Like, I don't really love the super colorful, cartoony stuff either.
yeah.
Like, yeah, so I'd love to see
I
that.
also love the I forgot the name specifically of it, but it's like the cosmic MTX, so it's like the whole cape is just like galaxy, and it's
Yes.
it's yeah, that one I think looks really cool. I love anything galaxy, like my mouse pad, everything is galaxy designed. It's very cool. So I think yeah. But I mean, I'm not here saying I wish there was more MTX in the game because I know that's a big no-no and people generally hate that. But, if you are going to spend money on MTX, it would be cool to have some like darker, edgier, gothier stuff.
No,
So,
I think it's totally
yeah.
fair. Like I think we always like we a lot of people forget that like this game is going to be free to play like whenever it comes out, which is absolutely crazy that like
Right.
anybody can just log on and play this game. So like they got to make money somehow, even though they are
Just
like
got to eat. Yeah.
yeah, even though they are net positive on the game already from just having early access, which is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that they're gonna give you the game for free at a certain point, like, I don't care if they have like the value of having PoE2 for free outweighs the fact that people can buy microtransactions and cosmetics. Like, it is what it is. It's all good.
And they're not pay to win in any way. It's just like let people have fun, let people support a game that they want to play. I mean, I don't even go outside anymore, right? So I used to go out and spend like 50, $100 on drinks and food with friends when I would go out. Now I can just spend that on MTX and like look cool in the game. I don't know.
Perfect target
um,
demographic right here.
yeah,
The game
aggressive
make
indoors people.
yeah, the game makes you want to spend more time inside and spend more money inside too.
You're over three. Wait, someone in chat is over $300 in MTX for PoE too. Wow.
That's
Um,
crazy. I mean, it's just another
yeah,
form of like expression with your character. Like, not only can you
it is.
express yourself with your build and how you're playing, but you could also like, customize your character. Like, I think that's all great for sure.
Yeah, I've seen some hideouts that are designed like there's a whole website to showcase people's hideouts, and it's like they'll do like a Pepe head with the decorations, or they'll I don't know, just a bunch of cool funny hideout designs. So I guess if you want to find the like Stardew Valley like aspect of PoE2, you could be a big MTX hideout designer. Um,
100%. I love Stardew Valley. And the funny thing
same.
is, like, I've had the basic hideout, like the felled hideout. I made all my people just sit in a circle, and that's what my hideout looked like for so long, for like as long as I've played the game. And people were ripping on me yesterday, being like, "Bro, you're an artist. Like, your hideout looks like shit." Like all this type of stuff. And so my friend sent me a hideout that he made for me. So now my hideout is beautiful. Because whenever I'm playing the game, especially like in hardcore SSF, like I don't really spend a lot of time in my hideout. So I'm usually out at like maps and stuff. But yeah, I got like degraded by chat yesterday. So now I have a beautiful hideout thanks to my homie.
That backseat pressure, that backseat you know what? I gotta say, like, as annoying as backseaters can be, God bless them, you know, they keep us on our toes.
For
They
sure.
keep our hideouts organized. Every
Yeah.
time I open my stash tab, I feel shame because I'm like, "I don't want anyone to say anything about this right now. Oh, please don't say anything about my stash tab." Like,
Yeah, it's like when you have friends
yeah.
over to your house, you're like, "Sorry guys, my house is a bit of a mess here." It's like, but this is streaming and your house is your stashes can always be well, mine is always a mess anyway, so
Yeah, but
yeah.
in real life, your friends are like, "Dude, we don't care. We love you. We're excited to see you." Da 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 da. And then in game, people are like, "Yeah, you're fucking disgusting. How could you? I'm throwing up. I'm actually sick. Why would you have like like the level of
True.
emotional attachment people have? Oh my god,
That's pretty
it's so
funny.
funny."
Yeah, yeah, but I'm sure
Anyway.
they wouldn't do that in real life if they came to your house. There's no way they'd do that. Uh,
No, yeah.
yeah, so we talked about 1.0 sort of briefly. I just wanted to ask you sort of a closing question for PoE 2. Like, how do you see the future of this game? Like, do you see this game like being really like massive when 1.0 comes out? Like, give me the scoop on that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that GGG is doing everything right in terms of being communicative, being direct, being fast with the updates, being just the goats, honestly. And so I know that a lot of people there was a big pop in player base during the obviously during the start of this new league because it was free to play. And it's been really cool to see how many people have stayed in chat who converted from the free to play weekend into like they paid for the early access. So yeah, this game is gonna blow up. I don't think that I think that karma is real, and I think that if you do good work, you'll receive good things back. And GGG is truly doing the good work. No, they're not perfect, and I know there's edge cases. You know, I had somebody in my chat the other day saying they haven't responded to my email for like over a month. Like, what I'm like, I don't know what to do. So there's hiccups for sure, but overall, the direction that it's heading in is really exciting to see, really fun to see. I love how much they invest in creating incentives for the community to engage with streamers as well. Like they're truly doing all the steps that they should be doing in order to make this a success. And I think it's already pretty successful. It's only going to get better from here. So, yeah.
Oh my god, there's gonna be so many people like watching videos and in Twitch. Like when the game comes out, there's gonna be like tons of new faces, which I'm very
Yeah.
excited to see. And yeah, like to sort of build off what you're saying, like it's very cool to be not only loving this game for the actual game of it all, but also like the company behind the game too. I think that like that is just
Yeah.
such a powerful combo. Like just one thing that I was super like stoked on was when I went back to play PoE 1, like I had all my stash tabs. I forgot that like all of this stuff like carries over from
Oh,
like
they
PoE.
they trade
Yeah,
yeah,
which
transfer.
I was like, oh my god, like what company would do that? Like, I feel like there's
Yeah.
very few companies out there that would like forgo all that money that they could make like by selling stash tabs in both games versus just like having everything like carry over. Like,
Yeah.
it's just a go to company for sure.
It's very GG of GGG. And
100%.
I think also though they had to do that though because like we were talking about earlier, the sort of factions within PoE 1 versus PoE 2, there are those hardcore PoE 1 loyalists who
Hmm.
are probably were like, well, I'm not gonna have to. I don't want to buy all my stash tabs again. I don't want to whatever. So I like that GGG has just eliminated as many barriers to accessibility as possible.
For sure. It's super smart.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
smart. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's
even
just such a fun game, like,
it
such a fun
is.
they're just great, like,
Yeah.
it's so great to see people who are wow, that this is gonna sound really stupid, but I mean I was gonna say it's so great to play a game developed by people who are cool, but I mean that in terms of, like, they're just they're for the community, and that's really cool.
And they're playing their game, which is kind of like, wild to actually have to say, but, like, you can tell that, like, they're very in touch with, like, as you said, the players, the content creators, like, and themselves, like, actually playing the game they're making.
Yeah.
It's just such a
Yeah.
huge thing. So yeah, shout out to GGG for making such a great game. Um, yeah, so just as like a couple final closing questions, I wanted to ask you, and this can kind of be a little bit sentimental, but I wanted to just ask you, like, what do and what have video games meant to you, and how have they impacted your life?
Oh my gosh, wow. Such a broad it's a loaded answer too. Um, where do you even begin? I mean, I grew up, my parents were in the military, right? So we moved every 1 to 3 years. So if you move in the middle of the summer in between the school year, you don't know anybody. So I had video games to lean into, right? I developed online community because I was always the new kid and didn't ever have much of a community in person. So there's been that fast factor that's, endeared video games to me. And then now, like I mentioned earlier, this year in particular was probably one of the hardest years of my life. And having PoE2, having the Twitch community, having everybody to give me a reason to get out of bed, give me a reason to like get dressed, give me a reason to log on and slap on a fake smile, got me through some of the darkest times. So for that reason alone, like if stream failed, if nothing else ever happened for me in the gaming career that I'm trying to pursue, if everything else failed, at the very least I will always be eternally grateful that this game got me through this insanely rough year. And I think it's only going to continue getting better from here now, especially as personally, I continue my journey of being a full time gaming creator. It's only up from here. So yeah, video games have definitely have had and will continue to have a very profound impact on my life.
Yeah, I love it. I talked about this with like YDoc and like, he shared sort of a similar sentiment where like, gaming can be just like a very helpful like escape from like the dog shit parts of life sometimes. And it help you actually bring yourself out of that as well. It's just such a powerful
Yeah,
like artistic medium. And yeah, I'm like internally grateful for it. Like, and again, like it's connected, not only us, but so many other great guests that I've had on the podcast and people I've met throughout the journey of life. So yeah, it's a super special
yeah,
thing with gaming. Yeah, so I would love to hear sort of as a final question, some advice for people looking to potentially start out on their content creation or streaming journey. How would you guide them, and what would you say to help them along their journey?
yeah. Do it. Show up. Remember that these hoes ain't loyal. That's been the biggest thing for me is you have to maintain consistency as much as possible. I have a lot of things in life where I'm like, okay, I can only stream like 4 hours today and it's got to be earlier because I have a shoot later or I have a this later, but show up every day or as often as you can. Obviously, I understand that life gets in the way. I have the luxury of not having a husband or kids or even like a plant to keep alive, so I can be full focused. And I noticed that when I started streaming consistently in terms of every day or at least like 6 days a week, my viewership number naturally skyrocketed. Don't be afraid to ask for advice, but don't be annoying either. Make sure that you crank the work out. Make sure that you are making progress and not focus solely on perfection. You have to be brave, not perfect. You have to just do the thing. And I know that sounds like such a cliche, but genuinely, like showing up every day, doing the thing every day, knowing that, like, oh, I need to post reels or post shorts, but my editing isn't perfect. Fuck it. Just do it. Because for every ounce of perfectionism that you try to put into your work, there's somebody out there who's doing half as good and getting twice as many views. Do you know why? It's because they showed up and they just did the thing. So I think consistency would be my biggest principle to reinforce for anyone new to the content creation space. And I still feel like I'm new, right? Like I've been rejected for partner 6 times. Like we're still cranking it out, but keep going. Like just keep doing it. And I think if you really invest effort and time into it, then you'll see natural results.
Yes, I think that,
Yeah.
I think that that sentiment is perfect. A lot of people
Yeah.
have sort of shared that sort of just piece of advice where it's like you have to be consistent, and consistent kind of leads back in full circle to that like balance, making sure you have balance so that you can show up when you need to, and that you can take care of
Yeah.
yourself when you need to too. And that's something that I'm working on, like, as my, like, mural season dies down, I, like, actually wanna have a schedule, like a streaming schedule where I can stream, like, a couple times a week and have, like, people know that, like, on these days, like, Blaze will be there. So, yeah, like, I love
Yeah.
hearing this 'cause it doesn't only also, like, help the viewers, but it also helps me too selfishly because I'm a new content creator. So, it's a win-win for everybody, which is awesome.
Yeah, and I think the what we're doing right now is actually one of the other things that I would recommend for anyone working on streaming and working on growing that. Communicate, talk to each other, like give each other ideas because as a creator, we are constantly iterating. We are constantly changing things. I'm constantly tweaking things, whether that's new sound alert, new follow alert, new biddy alert, new whatever. One of my friends who's like a big streamer, he gave me a really good piece of advice last year at TwitchCon. He was like, "Your channel is an actual TV station. So what programming are you putting out? What things are you doing that are going to make people continue to want to watch you? Of all the thousands of other active streamers, in anyone's following list, right? Like why are they going to come to you? And think about what would make you want to watch you." And
Mm.
I've started doing that, it's been, like I said, exponential. Like showing up every day, talking to people, communicating with the community, building the community. Like Wydock says, we are all in this together. So compare notes and don't be afraid to.
I love it. Yeah, I love it so much. The community is everything. And yeah, as we sort of mentioned before in the podcast, like it's so much harder to go in it with the solo self-found debuff in terms of streaming versus like going in on
Yeah.
the on like this like soft core trade. Like it's just exponentially easier. You know what I mean? So don't you're not in it alone, guys. Like you can you can reach out.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a sadist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
yeah.
don't have to be. I won't understand the hardcore player sadism, but I respect it. But know that we're here to help you in whatever way we can,
For sure.
from the softcore trade league side.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. So yeah, at this point in time, I'd just like to thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a
Yeah.
lovely chat. Hopefully by the next time you come on, if you want to come on again, you'll be a partnered streamer by then, and we can talk about what actually got the application through. I'd love to hear that story. So I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been great to be on here. Great to talk to you. Thanks so much for having me on, and looking forward to chatting again soon.
Absolutely. So at this point in time, just shout yourself out, plug yourself. Where can the viewers find you, and what are you going to be working on next?
All right. I'm Vivi. It was great to talk to all you guys. I'll be streaming live at twitch.tv/VVVillain pretty much every day. Currently just currency grinding on my witch. I will be playing Arc Raiders when it comes out October 30th. I'm really bad at shooters, so it's gonna be a super funny time. But yeah, PoE 2 up until October 30th, and then it's Arc Raiders for till next league. So
Oh
looking forward to
shit.
seeing you guys all there. It is the coolest game. I played the playtest in April. I'm so freaking excited. It's like it's one of the coolest games I've ever played, and it's the only thing that's managed to successfully turn my head from PoE 2 since PoE 2 came out. You know,
That sounds
yeah,
awesome. Yeah, I've been looking at it as well, so maybe we'll have to hit a co-op together on that sometime because I'm super down for Arc Raiders as
yes. Oh
well.
my God, PoE 2 Arc Raiders co-op. Let's go.
Yes. All
Like
right. Let's make it
two
happen.
streamers in Arc Raiders. All
Yes.
right. Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'll see you guys online.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And we will see y'all in the next one. Peace. All right, everybody. That wraps it up for this episode of the Passive Tree Podcast. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and subscribe for more PoE2 content. I have a bunch more episodes of the podcast lined up with some really great guests, so keep your eyes peeled for that. If you're interested in supporting the podcast and the channel, consider supporting through Patreon. There's a link in the video description. A special shout out to Kevin F. for supporting this channel. I appreciate you. Thank you. And until next time, happy blasting, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.